Yeah, I still don't know how I got the hole in the hole, but it's...
I could guess. I could venture a few guesses. There was plenty of rocks and debris and stuff. You probably hit a shark, right?
It's here.
The Fab Rats and Merlin and Jimmy are in your yard right now.
Right here.
Sounds like a good time. No, that'd be a good time.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It's Ben with the Pest Control Guys, and I'm working on episode 2 of After the Run. This may be the last one, I think. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see how long it goes. Anyway, today's episode, we're bringing in Tyler, my boy. We're bringing in Caden, Ryan's boy, and his friend Braden that went on the run with us, and we're going to talk to Kyle. He's got a story to tell, and maybe more. So let's see how much we get through today.
I brought a 1997 Yamaha waverunner 760 XL, which I figured out to be the largest jet ski ever made with the smallest motor. Weird
It
brag.
also has a long name.
Yeah. But I figured it'd be nice and smooth, which it was while it ran. It was good.
Well, what happened to make it not run so good?
Well, I'm not going to point fingers, but someone on another red, newer jet ski broke, and I had to tow him upriver.
Well, who was it?
Ryan. And then Ryan just hopped skis, just one after another, until he found one that worked.
Okay, now hold on. About hopping skis here. How many different skis did you ride on the trip?
They just pointed me
Okay,
at
no,
something.
that wasn't the... How many different skis did you ride on this
3.
trip? Okay.
So you ended up towing my ski
Yeah.
upriver.
Yeah, about 3 miles.
Why upriver?
Because Josh said that it was closer and that it'd be real easy, and then it never planed out, and that was like the worst rough ride for a small motor jet ski to do, because that was awful.
Plus you got a fat guy in the back of your ski, right?
Yeah,
Oh, you doubled up?
Oh yeah.
because we were trying to get it planed, and then it didn't work.
That can't make the
How about you? What'd you ride?
Yeah, Caden, how'd your ski run?
Oh, my ski was great.
Yeah, Mr. No Problems the whole
How many
time.
times did it break down?
None.
0.
Literally not one problem.
Almost ran out of gas a few times, but that's about it.
Yeah, he had no issues, not one.
That's it.
I think I had probably the most least fuel efficient jet ski there. It went through almost a full tank about every stop.
Every stop.
So, yeah, kind of all the side things. I'd turn back around, so I used a wee bit more gas than I probably
Yeah.
needed to.
Did we find any fish? Not really, because we were kind of playing catch up the whole time, because Paul's crew was always ahead of us, and we got all the breaking jet skis, so we were always trying to catch up. But
All the time.
I think that they were better at fixing them, and we would just try and keep cranking them. They actually knew what to do to fix them. So Jace's ski, we woke up. I ended up on that because when I woke up, we figured out my jet ski was blown, and I was kind of bummed out. And Paul came up to me. He's like, "Hey, do you want to ride Jace's ski?" And I was like, "I don't want to take it from him." He was like, "No, he's complaining about his back hurting."
Jace's back hurts. Landon's ski has been cannibalized, so those two are out. Jace's ski we have donated to someone else. He's riding it. It's going to make the trip. If Jace starts feeling better, he'll jump back on it, but...
So we went over there, and I hopped on his ski, and then not even a mile down the river, it was flooded completely to the brim with water. So we stopped I don't even know, 6 times within 5 miles to drain that thing.
So was it worth borrowing?
No, it was more problems than anything because all we were doing was trying to fix that jet ski. And we made it to lunch, and Paul looks at it for, 15 seconds, and he knew what to do. It was just one line, and he put a line together, and it was fine. It never flooded again. I ended up switching to the one Ryan was riding. Tyler took a break. Ryan took that one, and then I went on Ryan's old one. So, yeah, I was just hopping around.
Yeah, and then he thought he blew the motor on the one that he was driving after his died.
Yeah. That thing was weird, because sometimes it kicked in like it was running great, and then it would just, it was weird.
I think I lost my top end. I don't know. It may have been fuel. Anyway, everybody's filled up to the brim.
So, was the trip what you thought it was going to be?
Yeah, the trip was fun. Definitely an experience.
Harder or easier than you expected?
Well, I would say it was kind of in between for my ski because it was 2-seater that was tiny. I was getting thrown around the entire time.
Oh, I don't know who was the other. He was one of the he was driving the Echo Tundra. Jason. He hopped on my ski for a second, went out and did donuts and flipped right in front of everybody.
Yeah, me and Ben, we were out there for 4 minutes trying to get him back up on the ski because every time he tried to get up, he'd just fall over.
Those jet skis were so tippy.
So, kind of with my ski, I thought it was gonna kind of crap out because we're going upstream a little bit, so I didn't know if that was gonna affect my little 2-seater. But it did great down the entire trip. We were moving pretty quick, I guess, past everybody but Josh's ski and Tyler's.
Yeah.
But
So, whenever my jet ski broke, it was mine. Whenever my jet ski broke, we saw, I think Merlin and Jace, or something, were on the side of the river, and we were going, and me, Caden, and someone, it might have been you or Ben, we stopped and talked, and they all took off, and I was just sitting there cranking, and I floated 200 feet downstream just trying to crank my motor. Never went. Kyle pulled up, and he ended up towing me, and that was the most brutal ride because the rope was too short, so I was sitting there right where the jet was blowing out, and my jet was back and forth throwing me around no matter what I did. So we're going. He tells me, we get it hooked up, and we make it to camp, and Kyle's not there. Well, come to find out, there's a hole in the side of his hull that I think happened while he was towing me. So, yeah, we don't know what happened because he says he doesn't really remember hitting anything. So, I don't know. But, yeah, rough ride for sure. Just, if I stood up, I wouldn't get splashed in the face, but it was way more comfortable to try and sit down, and I felt like
Hey, so why did you tie the rope to my handlebars?
I didn't do that. Little Ben did that to me, and he threw me into the river so fast. Was it me?
Look, so when my ski went down, you graciously came over to help me. However, the rope was tied to my handlebars.
There might have been some get back for all the times over the years.
Well, let's just say that all of this was done without getting in the river.
He went swimming.
And then when you started yanking, the ski went one way and fat guy went the other. And I was having visions of sharks in the Missouri River. I was having
Eddie sucking them in.
Yeah, like something whirlpool sucking me down the bottom. I had some legitimate fears.
Yeah.
The first time I went into the river. So
first time I went in, I was completely dry all day. And little Ben, he hooked to my handlebars. I made it 10 feet, and I went straight in. And yeah.
So we learned real quick. Do not tie to the handlebars. There's a little ring at the front of your ski.
Yep.
Always tie to that.
It's worth just getting in the water or leaning over to hook it than trying.
Otherwise,
Oh, the mud was bad. You'd sink this far, like halfway up your thigh in some places. It was horrible.
So, you had one of the faster skis on the trip, right?
Mm-hmm.
You had a ski that didn't go down at all.
No.
How did that work out? How much did you pay to make sure that didn't happen? You must have been living right.
I didn't pay a single thing.
Man,
What can I say? Buy it built.
He did. The guy we bought it from. I'll be completely upfront. He told us that's probably going to be the best ski you ride,
Yeah.
and it was, right?
Did you say that about the other 900?
No, he did not.
It only had problems starting up one time.
Yeah, there was
and that
one time it didn't want to crank, but
That was the beginning of the river trip.
Jim told us how to hold it wide open, and I told him, I was like, hold it wide open, and it started and didn't have another
I think
problem.
most of us just had problems with starting it, and starter fluid
Yeah.
is all we needed.
Being alive.
I was just bummed out because I had the sickest ski. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, it's
In
Ryan.
my opinion,
It's Ryan. What did you expect?
Always has
In
to be
my
the
humble
nicest thing.
opinion. I thought I was gonna have the sickest ski on the river, and
You did for about 10 minutes.
yeah, it was what 2 stops in, 3 stops
Yeah,
in,
not very much at all.
and it frickin' went down.
Within 2 hours.
And that was a bummer, man. That really took the gas out of my sails, or wind if you're American.
Word.
Yeah. Then Chance was so upset to give you his jet ski.
Yeah,
he was
watching
really bummed.
freaking Porpoise himself go down the river, that was hilarious.
That's what he
You
was
didn't
doing.
have to help him get on it to start the run.
So Ben, you had to help Chance get on the
Yeah, he
ski
was-
to go.
And he kept falling off. On ground.
Chance, you're a trooper, buddy.
We love you, Chance.
I wondered how come you wanted to spend so much time in the truck riding.
I know. You
So
love
did you like the red ski or the blue ski better?
Oh, hands down, the red ski was it was the best ski I rode
Yeah.
the entire trip.
No.
So the blue ski, the 1200, was decent. It was a little bit more stable.
Mm-hmm.
But when the 900 was running right,
Yeah.
I liked the 900 better.
It was fast. When it kicked in right, it was moving.
But it just the top end just didn't want to work on
Yeah.
the ski the whole time. Especially when I was trying to chase Paul down at the end of the first evening. It took me double time. Good thing he stopped.
Except for you.
Okay, so let me tell you guys what happened with this circumstance. Paul, Jace, and Hunter ripped right on past camp. And Merlin and I were the first ones at camp.
Mhm.
Now, that was the one time on the trip I was first to anything. But I was first to camp.
Yeah, we were behind on that.
And Merlin and I are sitting on this jetty. And Merlin says, "Hey, go get those mother." So I had to unhook. I went and I tried to go catch up to these guys. Well, my top end was working as I came into camp, but as I went to go
Yeah.
get those guys, it was not working.
Mine, it was same thing. Whenever we pulled up to Daisy 2's lunch, I pulled up. I was going, keeping up with him and Tyler. Like, I was moving. And then we ate, left, and they left me. And they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, it's just that top end thing. It's just being weird.
Yeah, so top end really blew, and I knew if it was working, I would be able to catch those guys. But I started already probably a mile behind them, and I took off and I tried to catch these guys. And the further I went, the more I knew we probably weren't getting back till dark because that ski, the top end would not kick on. And I finally went down and caught them about probably 12 or 13 miles down the river.
Holy cow.
It was a ways.
Yeah.
And then we turned around and came back. As we were coming back, though, Hunter and I were in the lead. And Hunter took this side chute, and I knew, because coming down, it looked a little shallow. There were a lot of jetties, and I was like, I think we need to swing wide. But he took it close to the shore. Next thing I know, he's hung up, and he's hung up in ankle-deep water.
Yeah.
And so I'm hanging out, and Paul's hanging out. Jace is sitting there. He tells Jace to head on back. Paul's sitting there trying to talk it through with Hunter, I guess for moral support. I don't know. But finally, I said, you know what, I got to get back to camp. And Paul and Hunter ended up, well, I guess Hunter took it out himself.
Yeah, he just drug it.
Paul was not about to go up in there and get hung up. So they on the river, they've actually figured out how to stop the erosion. And so they've come out with these barges with big old track hose.
Yeah.
And they've built up these jetties, these rock outcroppings all the way down the river. Mm-hmm. There has to be hundreds of millions of dollars.
Oh, yeah.
Worth of rock and fuel and equipment.
Billions.
Oh, man, it's nuts. But all in the name of saving the river and the erosion. So back in the day, the river used to shift just nonstop, and they've actually stopped a lot of that. So as you guys are cruising down the river, as all of us are cruising down the river, these jetties come way out into the river, but then all of a sudden they end, but you see rapids, right? So what's happening with those rapids?
So those mean that there's rocks very shallow under the surface of the water. And not once did Hunter veer away from those. He went straight through them every single time versus all of us would swerve around them because we didn't want to put a hole in our hull.
So that was one of the benefits of having a crappy ski, Hunter. He was able to pull some crazy crap.
Yeah, he just went.
He didn't worry about putting holes in his skis.
Those things were I think the real thing is he wanted out. He just wanted a good excuse to be out.
So Hunter just informed the entire world that he's wore out from the floor out.
Yep.
You're done.
I can't be, but
Such a weenie.
I am.
These Utah boys, you just never know.
Yeah.
The first day he said
I actually heard it 2 or 3 different times. This is some insight that you guys didn't know. Hunter was done.
Done.
He made the trip. Kudos to you, Hunter. But every ramp,
stop.
he was like, I'm done. And so he continually tried to pile it onto the rocks. And he beached it how many times?
Quite a few.
He went over the handlebars, I think, once. I don't know. Anyway, it was good times watching him be careless with that machine. So, all in all, was it a good trip?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Is it something that you guys are going to do in the future?
I'd love to.
I hope
My
so.
dad's been talking about it already.
Well, after having done that, would you guys continue to do cool trips with your boys?
Oh, for sure.
So that was really the key behind all of this, was to get our boys out so they continue the tradition and take their kids out in the future.
Okay, I'm here with Tyler.
Hi.
We are still talking about the river run.
Mm-hmm.
Did you want to go at first?
Not really.
Why not?
It just didn't sound fun at the time, and I just didn't think I'd have fun just sitting on the jet ski the whole time.
So what changed your mind?
The jet ski that I got.
Oh, it wasn't the snowmobile trip we went on?
I mean, that kind of did change
That
it
helped
a little
it?
bit. Yeah.
So we got a ski for you, and it was broken, and Josh fixed it for us, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what was your favorite part of the whole trip?
Probably the last few miles to the Mississippi. I got to ride on.
So Tyler gave up the ski so I could ride, and then I gave up the ski so Josh could ride, and he rode all the way to the end. But then Tyler hopped on the ski and took it to the Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
Was it bumpy out there? Lots of waves?
Oh yeah, it was bumpy.
It's a bigger river, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool. You got to ride in the Missouri and the Mississippi. Anything else you liked about it?
I mean, I got to splash my dad.
So there was an incident where you started sinking.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think was happening? Because it was just riding funny, right?
Yeah.
What did you think was wrong?
I knew something was wrong with the bilge pump.
So it was taking on water. We got that fixed pretty quick, though.
Mm-hmm.
And then it didn't give us any trouble, did it?
No.
So would you say that ski was a crappy one or a decent one?
It was a decent one.
Was it slower or faster than most of the other
Faster.
people? It was pretty fast compared to everybody else. So when was the worst part of the trip?
When we were just standing there when we finished.
Oh, at the end?
Yeah.
The meet and greet was rough, huh? It was a long time. We got there at like 4:30, and we were there until way after dark.
Mm-hmm.
But that's okay. All right, so that's Tyler. Tyler got to go with me, father and son, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we made it. You
Yeah.
made it. The ski made it. It was fun.
Yeah.
No, don't move.
I don't want to be in
Here with Kyle. Kyle is our friend from here. He didn't have to travel far, but he went with us. What were you riding?
I had a 99 1000 Kawasaki.
No, it was 1100.
Okay, 1100.
Because it was one of the fast skis.
For about day one, it was decent.
So day one, you had an incident. Well, Ryan had an incident, and you were there for that. What happened?
Which one for Ryan?
Ryan's ski stopped.
Oh, yeah. I was falling back behind, so I realized he wasn't catching up, so I just went back and we started to tow him, and then we realized that Braden's ski would probably pull better, so.
Now wait. You skipped something very important.
Well.
You started towing him by the handlebars. And he tasted the river.
Yeah, I think there's video of that one. That was it. Operator error on both of us.
Okay, so then most of day one, you were flying. You'd start at the back, and then you'd work your way up.
Yeah, didn't do the buddy system real well, but yeah, it was running good for the most part.
Now, Kyle Ski was the one that towed mine during testing when I got stranded on the other side of the lake. Towed me all the way back. It ran really good. Mine didn't. His did. And then towards the end of day one, we had an incident. So I got to the campsite. Ryan had just left to go get Paul because they blew past. I was there. I was trying to make sure everything was set up right, that we had paid, and camp was getting set up, and food was started. So I was a little occupied, and then Brad's son came up and said, "Hey, we're going to go rescue Kyle." And it's like getting dark. It's like dark. And they're going to leave to go find Kyle, and I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, so I guess the last stop before we went to Cooper's Landing, we stopped in Boonville, and I realized my ski was taking on a little bit of water. And I had to pull, Braden's ski went down right before that, so I pulled him to the last stop, and I just assumed maybe that was the reason why my ski was taking on some water, not realizing that
There might be a problem.
Yeah, there was definitely a problem, but I got all the water out of the hole, and then we fueled up. We all take off together,
And Kyle says, "I'm just going to send it."
right. Yeah, that's what I know. So as we're going, there's a third bin that it was usually the last one. He was kind of watching me, staying with me for the most part, and I was running probably 40 at the beginning, and it just steadily got a little bit slower and a little bit slower, and I didn't think it was going to actually stop.
Yeah, that's what happens when you start filling with water.
Yeah.
It gets slower. It won't plane.
Yeah, pretty heavy. So I waved Ben on, and I didn't realize that I was getting almost to a stop, but so he kept going, and I was kind of like, oh crap, I'm all by myself now. So every time I gave it just a little bit of throttle, it was running about 20 miles an hour. And if I gave it any more, it would start to die. So I was just kind of babying it, not knowing how much farther we had to go. We're assuming it was somewhere maybe 40 miles to from where our last stop was to Cooper's Landing. So,
It was a ways. It ended up being like 45 or 50 miles that we did. But anyway,
so
Kyle didn't do it. He ended up somewhere. Where did you end up? Did you name the place?
No, well, it was Eagles Bluff, and finding out it was only about 5 miles by water from where Cooper's Landing was, but I had no idea. I didn't.
That's a long ways to swim.
Yeah, I didn't know what side of the river it was on, but when it died on me in the middle of the river, I didn't even know which side to go to, so I swam my ski to the right side.
Was it easy to swim it in the river? Didn't it want to keep you in the middle?
Yeah, it did. But
That
once
current
I
was
got,
crazy.
yeah, I didn't realize that it was only about 4 foot deep when I was swimming a lot of this time. That was on a sandbar, so I walked it over to a little peninsula and parked it and thought that I might be spending the night on that island with the snakes. And
So people that weren't even on the run are starting to get notifications. Kyle's sharing his location with you. My wife calls me and says, "Why is Kyle sharing his location with me?" And I'm like, "I don't know. He's not doing it for me, so I'm going to flip a hamburger."
yeah, I called Brad. I called Ben. I don't know if I called Ryan. I called my wife.
His wife.
And then
An hour and a half away. What's she going to do?
Well, tell me goodnight, I guess. I don't know.
Kind of like Ryan. When he gets hurt, he's like, "Hey, I'm just calling you to let you know I'm on my way to the hospital in case I don't make it." Kyle's like, "Hey, honey, I love you in case I don't make it."
Right. Well, she didn't answer either. So
Lots of love.
yeah. So I ended up. It was getting darker, so I thought I need to get to the other side of the river just because I could see some cars, see a parking lot over there, and there were a couple people just watching me. But so I start swimming. I tie a rope to the front of my ski so I can use both of my hands to paddle.
Because that current was ripping.
Yeah, it was. And I thought I could make it to this barge just right across. But by the time I got to it, the river took me so far down that I actually touched the side of the barge thinking it was like a couple feet out of the ground. But when you get up close to it, those things are like 5 feet out of the ground.
So there was nothing you could grab?
No,
nothing
there
to
was
tie
some steel
to?
plates that I tried to, but it was useless. I rode all the way down the barge and then tucked in behind it. And that's where I parked on another little rock bar and got
Now, I was next to a barge messing around when my ski was running, and you get to the end and it's like a whirlpool, like a total vortex,
Yes.
suck you in, kill you type of thing.
Yeah.
So you felt pretty good about that?
I was close. I had my ski that I didn't feel would pull me under, so
I was using the ski as a flotation device
Correct.
because it didn't have any water in it at all.
so yeah, I was able to pull it back up on the rocks there. And after I think Ben called something. Did you call me or did Brad call me?
I told
back?
Brad to call you.
So they said they were on their way. So I started bailing all the water out of the ski again and got it all. When they were coming up the river, I think they were looking either on the wrong side or it was just dark enough that they couldn't see me until they were almost on me.
Yeah, when they left camp, it was dark. And meanwhile, everybody had abandoned Kyle. He probably didn't know if he was ever going to make it to camp. And they went back looking for him without any lights, without anything, and just, I don't know how they found him, but they found him because
Yep.
he's here.
I'm here.
But he apparently was on this island for how long?
Maybe 20 minutes.
So he swam for probably a half hour and then
Easily, yeah.
maybe more, and then sat on the island for 20 minutes waiting for them.
Yeah, and so I got all the water out of my ski, and when they showed up, I said, "Well, let's just see." So it fired up, and I rode it all the way back to camp, not realizing how bad where the water. Didn't know if the water was coming in from, you know.
We woke up in the morning, went down to the ramp where the skis were all parked, and there's Kyle's,
Yeah,
mostly underwater.
yeah, found the hole pretty easily. So I was done.
We ended up loading it, and you got to ride shotgun, huh?
Yes, yeah, that was a different experience. It was good for a little bit, but I wanted to be on the water with these guys.
Yeah, so I got off the river at the Hydrofoil Museum, and I was letting Josh, who fixed my ski, ride for one checkpoint. And I had 2 checkpoints left, and I figured let Josh ride one, and then I told him to let Kyle ride the last one. I don't know what happened there.
He wasn't giving it up. I don't blame him.
He saw Kyle, and he's like, "See ya!"
Yeah,
He took
I
off.
wasn't mad.
Oh well. So my plan was to get Kyle back on the river day 2, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, and I know
Did you feel fear for your life that night?
No, I wasn't. Once I made it to
What
the
was
other
it?
side of the river, I thought that I could at least go up to that parking lot. If I had to leave my ski there, I was kind of worried about that. But I was at least close to people, I felt.
That river was crazy. In the daytime, I don't know what it was like at night.
It's filthy.
So When you're swimming with your ski, both hands, how's that work? You said rope. So where'd you tie the rope?
tied
Around your
in
neck?
my mouth, and then backstroke, both hands and feet.
How'd that water taste?
It was horrible.
So we almost lost Kyle. We're glad he's still alive. The ski is living to ride another day once we figure out how to patch the hole. And it's still a fast ski, whether it's got 50 gallons of water in it or not. And anyway, we're glad you made it. Sorry you didn't ride the second day, but
Well, hey, it was day one. It was all worth it. It was awesome. Good group of
so
dudes.
we'll run down here. You towed somebody. Braden towed somebody. My ski towed somebody. The blue ski towed somebody. Paul towed a whole bunch of people.
Mm-hmm.
Merlin towed some people. Josh towed Jimmy.
Okay.
Did Brad tow anybody? I mean, that's like
Nah.
more than half the skis got towed. At least Kyle's didn't get towed. He rode it. He swam it and rode it.
Yeah. Ready to go back again.
Ready to
Well,
go back.
till we get some.
He's ready earlier than us, but that's okay. We're ready. Just like Ryan said yesterday, we're ready.
Yeah.
We're gonna do something.
And the consensus was to put that quick seal,
Flex
Flex
tape,
seal.
flex seal.
but I didn't trust it enough, so not on that river.
No, that river will eat flex tape like nobody's business.
Yeah, I still don't know how I got the hole in the hole, but it's.
I could guess. I could venture a few guesses. There was plenty of rocks and debris and stuff.
stuff,
You probably hit a shark.
right.
So at the end of the run, there were some really nice people that came to visit. I'm sure they came to see Paul and Merlin and those guys, but they were nice to us. And I'm walking around getting stuff ready for the giveaway. And this one fan had a cooler and he's like, "Hey man, you need a drink? You look hot." And I'm like, "Yeah." So he whips out a Fitz's root beer. This is not a Fitz. Sorry. I'll put a picture on the screen. But Fitz is made in St. Louis. It's a locally made beverage there. And he hands me this ice cold Fitz and I'm like, heck yeah. So I crack it open and I pound it. And I'm like, "Thanks, man." And I walk away and I go doing whatever I'm doing. And Chance, he's kind of my right-hand guy at the office. And he's noticing that I'm carrying this empty bottle. So I'm carrying an empty bottle around. I twisted the top. I drank it. I snapped the top back on it. And I'm carrying it around in my hand. He's like, "Here, give me that. I'll take care of it." So he hauls it off, throws it in the trash, whatever. I don't know. Fast forward a few hours. We're getting ready to leave. We drive out to the entrance so that we can meet the Suburban. And I was going to drive the Suburban back. Ryan was driving his big truck. And then the other guys were taking the other trucks. So I'm thinking, I better grab something to eat, something to keep me awake. We were super tired. We weren't going to get back until super late. I grab a bag of jerky from Bass Pro. And then I went in the cooler. I'm like, what do we have to drink left? Because each truck had a cooler for all the guys. And I look in the cooler and there's a couple of waters, like one Gatorade, orange or something I don't really like. And then there was a bottle of Fitz's. And I'm like, sweet, another one. So I grab it. It's cold. And I set it in the Suburban in the cup holder. And I've got my jerky and we hit the road. We stopped. Ryan wanted to stop and get drinks and snacks or whatever for the road. And I'm like, oh, great. Well, I already have mine. I'm going to save money. So we stop. We get on the freeway. We start heading out. And I'm chowing on jerky. Just, that stuff was tasty. Thank you, Bass Pro. You guys are great. That was awesome jerky. Anyway, I'm starting to get thirsty. And I remember, I've got this Fitz's root beer. So I pop the top open. And I'm super thirsty at this point. And so I just start pounding it again. And I get about, I don't know, a third of the way into it. And I realize it does not taste like root beer. Not good. It was horrible. It tasted like toilet water. Turns out My mystery bottle that Chance took didn't go to the trash. He took it back to the truck and threw it in the cooler with the other 3 or 4 drinks that were in there. Now, I had snapped the cap back on it, and in the cooler, it's slowly, I guess, filled with water. Cooler, nasty, river, dirty hands, oily, greasy, ugh, water from the cooler. And with the cap on it, when I pulled it out, I'm like, oh, it's full. You couldn't see it. It's a dark bottle, not a clear like this. So I drank nasty cooler water. It was disgusting. And we'd already stopped, so it's like, I can't get something to get the taste out of my mouth. I can't stop and get another drink. Everybody's tired. They want to get home. So I finished the bag of jerky. I get super dry, dehydrated like, but at least I got that taste out of my mouth. That was a cruel trick, Chance. That was not cool. I mean, it was nice of him to take it, but it backfired bad. Thank you to the fan that gave me the fits. Sorry, I had to relive it twice, but I'm going to go get me some good stuff. I went yesterday looking for a bottle so I would have it instead of a Moxie bottle. And it's hard to get in Kansas City. You can get it, but I looked at like 6 different places last night. I couldn't find one, so I'll find one. It'll be featured somewhere down the road for us, but that was my sad behind the scenes thing that happened. Don't want to do that again. It's better than drinking urine, right, Ryan? Maybe he'll tell that story sometime. All right. That's it for volume 2 of After the Run. You know, it was awesome. We have more stories. We didn't talk to Brad. We didn't talk to his kids. We didn't talk to Josh. We didn't put them on here. Sorry, guys. It's just hard to get you on film. Come over right now. I'll film you. But they can't. They're working. There was a lot. And a lot of work went on that you guys didn't see. The guys driving the trucks, the fans that came and helped, the people that brought food. There was a lot that happened. And we're so grateful for everybody and for all that they did. I am, especially because I know how much work went into all of it. And even though it was just as simple as putting gas in a rig and riding it down the river, there was a lot that happened. So thank you guys so much. It was cool. Now, don't think this is over. The river run's over, but don't think that the shenanigans are over. We're already working on the next thing. Stick around for that. Thanks for watching. We really appreciate you guys. The run was awesome. We're kind of glad it's over, but we're starting to get the feelings of we miss it. So, all right, so that's going to be it for now. We appreciate you guys watching. We will catch you guys on the next one.